Hello, and welcome back to day number 2 of the From Zero to Marketing Hero podcast. As I was getting everything set up to launch this podcast, I read somewhere that 90% of all podcasts that get started don't make it past 3 episodes. So with this episode, I'm 2/3 of the way to being in the top 90% of all podcasts. But it has just got me thinking, day number 2 of a whole year-long journey. 365 days of recording, posting, uploading, editing. It's actually quite daunting. Just going through the process yesterday was a fascinating experience. I knew that it would take me a little bit longer than I hoped to get it down to. It took me a good few hours yesterday, and I did get a couple of people saying, "Oh, how are you going to manage this over the next 12 months?" But one thing I know for sure is that once I get into the rhythm of this, I sat down this morning and I'm like, all right, we've got day number 1 under our belt. And, it was fantastic to get some really positive feedback. But just after doing that one episode, I noticed that, my creativity started to flow. And within the space of 5 minutes, I had, a rough outline for the next week or two. There are so many things that I want to share and so many ideas that I've got to have this be something that can be a fantastic resource for not only myself, but for anyone else out there that might be listening. So if you're tuning in for the first time, my name's Paul Heron, and this podcast is the Zero to Marketing Hero podcast. It's a year-long challenge that I am putting on myself, that I'm giving myself to finally, after 5 years of being self-employed, 5 years of being an entrepreneur, to finally master and embody some of the skills that are needed to be able to successfully identify the challenges that my target audience, my target customer is experiencing, and to be able to attract them into my world. Up to this point, I have relied on other methods to bring people into my business. I have developed numerous skills around the sales process and, coaching itself. And I've set up a wonderful business, but this is the thing that for the next 12 months is going to be my focus. And I am super excited to start this journey. We're at day number 2 and it's still, it's very, very early days, still finding my feet in how this is all going to work. But I'm super excited to dive in the deep end and see where this can go. So today I wanted to talk about where we're starting from. I call this podcast the Zero to Marketing Hero podcast, and both those labels are, it's kind of a bit of an in-joke for myself, I guess, because I've been self-employed more than 5 years. I've learned so much in that time frame. So in many ways, I am far from zero. I'm far from the absolute beginner that is just coming into this process. What that term means to me is, when I look at the actions that I have taken to really, truly put myself out there, throw myself in the deep end and get my message out to the world, there's very, very few. I've experienced a lot of resistance in terms of showing up. Even showing up and starting this podcast, I've worked tremendously hard over the last 18 months or so to be able to feel more comfortable and confident putting myself out there. And that is part of the skill that I have been able to develop over this period. But when I look at the statistics, when I look at my follower numbers, my Facebook friends, even my email list, they don't reflect someone who has put in 5 years worth of work in terms of growing an audience and creating that community of like-minded people to start conversations with. Over the coming days and coming weeks, over this interim period, I guess, that is one of the things I want to share. I want to be open and honest about exactly where I am starting from. Another key ambition in this interim setup phase is to get really clear on what my goals are for this period. And, this is something that has been hugely daunting for me. It's a scary thing to publicly express and communicate goals out to the world. And I'm super excited about the prospect of sort of thinking through what that might look like. As a starting point, I just wanted to put some context to what the name of this podcast means to me. So when I say zero, that really does have there's a bit of judgment there, I think. So part of me is like, man, you've been doing this for 5 years. Um, what's gone on to have me 5 years into a journey where I've managed to find some fantastic success over that period. But what's got me sitting here 5 years in thinking, man, I am actually at a zero in one of the most important areas that any business has in terms of attracting people into their business. And I think the number one thing that has really held me back the most is my fear of really putting myself out there. Over the last couple of weeks, there's a light bulb moment about 3 weeks ago, which is probably what's led to this podcast in the first place, and a couple of other things that I've managed to take action on over the last few weeks. But over the last 5 years, for most of that time, I had, come from the corporate world. I had a status, I guess you could say, in terms of my career. I felt like I was playing the role I was supposed to make. But I transitioned to a place where I started a coaching business, which I love. But in my mind, a lot of people that were my connections, my family, my friends, I had this feeling that, people don't really understand what this is. I need to reach out. I need to attract who I'm wanting to work with. And I had a resistance towards really putting myself out there to even the people that are closest to me. But the thing I realized not very long ago is that, the people that are closest to us are the people that are, in many ways, our biggest supporters. This idea that we've got this fear of, or need, I guess, a desire to try and please everyone. And there's a fear that some people aren't going to resonate with that message. Well, this is what I experienced anyway. And as I said, 5 years into this journey, it was just a bit of a light bulb moment where I have come to the realization that my business isn't going to grow through going directly to paid advertising, to to outsourcing all this marketing stuff. For me to have a successful business, I needed to truly embody the idea of being an entrepreneur, being a coach, being someone who is very, very comfortable putting myself out to the world. And, that's a big part of what this journey is about for me. So in that regard, I really do see myself at ground zero. And that is where the zero to Marketing Hero comes from. And I guess we all find ourselves wherever we are in our journey. The important thing is to remember that we are where we are. We have this vision, we have this goal, we have this spark within us that drives us towards the thing that we're wanting to create. In this case, I have a vision, a goal of having this successful coaching business that I can rely and trust on, and it gives me the financial freedom that I'm looking for. But I know a core component of that is really getting my head around and understanding this marketing process, which I have put off for so long because I've found a sense of comfort and certainty in other processes that I've set up, which has its pros and cons. There is no right or wrong way, but I genuinely believe if we want to be really in control of our destiny, particularly in business, particularly in the entrepreneurial online space, then I really do believe that we need to get our head around this process of helping people discover who we are and getting our message out there to the right people and attracting clients into our world. There's so much marketing material, there's so much stuff out there that uses language like getting clients, like we're going to go out and get clients. That's the thing I want to address. It's I want to move away from all this pressure that we need to be out there getting something and forcing something to happen, and come back to this idea of working out how we can be the best version of ourselves, put the best version of ourselves out there, and actually attract the type of person that we want to bring into our world through some of these marketing skills that we're hopefully going to develop and learn, and most importantly, take action on and embody over the coming 12 months. So again, I'm super excited to sort of look at where this is going to land. For me right now, my mind is on just the technical side of setting all this up and getting started and making this commitment and continuing this commitment of just showing up every day. Super excited. So I might leave it there for today. Like I said yesterday, a big part of this for me is interacting and starting conversations and getting feedback. It was wonderful to get some really positive feedback after yesterday's podcast that I posted, which was fantastic to see. But if anyone has any feedback at all, please reach out and let me know. You can reach me through my website. It's paulheronlifecoaching.com. There's links in the show notes, so you can find me there. And yeah, let's keep this ball rolling. I'll be turning up again tomorrow, and I most likely will talk about my goals and dreams. So today was more about the zero, what that means to me. Tomorrow I might address the hero. Anyone who knows me knows that it's not really the way that I would talk about myself. But yeah, I want to touch on that a little bit more tomorrow. So tune in then, and yeah, can't wait to connect and get your feedback and get your thoughts, and yeah, keep this ball rolling. Bye for now.